Hello, this is Eve Mayer. Welcome to another fabulous episode of the Brawless Entrepreneur podcast. We are here to help women entrepreneurs make more money, take back more time so they can have more of them. So I am here today with Shannon Wilburn, who is the owner and CEO of Shine Executive Coaching.
Yep.
I'm really excited to talk to Shannon today. She is a friend of mine. And I always find it interesting that I show up typically for our calls looking like a slob, and Shannon is always decked out, and I don't understand why. So, we're going to dig into that today and how she made millions and millions of dollars through franchising. Shannon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So thank you for inviting me to be on your podcast.
I am thrilled you're here. So, I'm going to give y'all just a tiny scoop on Shannon. So, you know about me, I think. I am a coach, a mentor for women entrepreneurs, right? Most of the women entrepreneurs I work with work from home, they work remotely, they have a startup company, or they've been around for a while, they're working towards seven figures, but they generally work from home. Shannon, tell me if I get this right, has become very specialized in the world of franchise, right?
Yes.
Where
Yep.
she takes women and men executive entrepreneurs who are ready to take things to a global or national or regional level
Yes.
and really expand that. So this show today is really, I'm going to be learning along with you. I know nothing about this world, but I tell you what, when I hear the words millions and millions of dollars, I want to know more. So Shannon, that's why we're here with you. So first of all, let's get to it. Every time I talk to you and you work from home most of the
Yes.
time, right?
Yeah. I'm
Why
in
the
my
hell do you look so like what's with the makeup and the cool glasses? And I feel like your camera's low, so I kind of think you're wearing a bra. Like I don't understand. Tell me why.
Oh my goodness. Think. I don't know. I think when I'm gonna be on camera, I'm like put on makeup and do my hair and put on nice clothes.
That's beautiful.
And that is before I met you, I
Yes.
didn't know anyone who showed up like braless. So
I am so glad. Listen, Shannon, this is a secret that women entrepreneurs working from home are keeping. And I think I'm going to start posting like on LinkedIn and being like, if you're a woman entrepreneur working from home, give me a comment, braless, if you're not wearing a bra right now. And I bet you it'll be like 70% all women brave enough to stand up for what they believe in.
yeah. Who invented the bra anyway?
I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah. I know.
It really sucks. Okay, so do you always dress up, like, in life when you go out of the house? You
Okay.
have makeup on all the time?
I know, So
No?
last year I worked way too much. I told myself in 2026 I'm gonna take Fridays off. So we are shooting this on a Friday, doing the
Mm,
recording on a Friday.
mm.
And so typically I wouldn't have on makeup
Oh.
on a Friday, and my hair would be up in a bun on top of my head, and I would be in a t-shirt and probably a sports bra, not a real bra, and with yoga pants and tennis shoes. Probably we live on 15 acres where I live in Oklahoma. And so I like to spend time outside. And so but I showered for you.
Aw,
I put on makeup for you
aw.
today. I'm getting my lashes done today, so they look a little crazy. So,
You get
um,
the
yes,
extensions?
I get
Oh my
extensions.
god, I
Mhm.
had extensions for 2 years, it was, like, the best 2 years of my life,
Yep.
and then they had, like, some kinda reaction, and I could never do it again, but, like, every morning I would wake up and I'd look at my husband, and I just felt like Beyoncé, you know, like, I just wake up and it was like, "Hi," and it was amazing, and now it's gone, and I can't do it
I've been
anymore.
doing lashes for, gosh, before it was popular.
It's
I've
awesome.
been doing them for a really long time, like probably 15 years.
I would 100% do them if they didn't bother my eyes.
Yeah.
I feel like highlights,
Yeah.
lashes, and if I had the time and my husband really wasn't did not want me to do it, Botox, those are the
Yeah.
keys to longevity.
Yeah. So
No.
fun
Yes.
fact, I have an identical twin sister.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
Okay, yes, I have an identical twin sister. She lives in Dallas. Um, she she's able to get Botox. She's able to still color her hair. I cannot get Botox or color my hair because I have 200 chemical allergies. And so, in fact, when I go get my lashes done, I have special eye pads that they use to uh, put under you to keep your lower lashes down. And so, I've told my friends, I said, well, this is going to be a case study in aging
Yeah.
and to see, she looks amazing, because she's been getting Botox for probably 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
and she has beautiful blonde hair, and she looks younger, but that's okay.
I see you're a really good person because I would really hate that.
Well, I don't hate it at all. I love my sister so much, and I'm
Oh,
so glad that she does not have these allergies that I have, so
that's much sweeter than I would feel. I have no siblings, and I'm so glad because I would 100% be jealous. Like, for sure. I would not be that good of a person.
I'm definitely not jealous, and I'm glad.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Shannon, you said you
Mhm.
didn't even know people were working braless, and now that the secret's out, there are many things that you can mentor us on, but
Yes,
I'm gonna mentor you for one moment that,
please.
Shannon, if you just raised the angle of your monitor and your camera 2 inches,
How about
you
this?
could you could join our club and no one would ever know, right? It'd be fantastic. So
Yeah.
one day next week, I want you to have, like, a big meeting where you're making, like, gobs of money and you push your monitor up and you just see, "Do I feel more powerful making gobs of money while not wearing a bra?" I think there is a side to you you have not discovered yet
It's
because it's
probably true.
just a little break in the rules there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we get into Shine executive coaching, I want to hear where you came from. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about your personal life. Like me, I think you have a hot husband, you have some kids, you live on a farm. I mean, I don't live on a farm, but the rest of it, tell us a little bit about that. And then, like, what's the history? How did you get here? How did you become an entrepreneur?
Personally, I've been married for 35 years, and my husband is the senior pastor of a church. I live in Jinx, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Tulsa. And I have 2 children. They are 30 and 31, and they are both married, and they have both given me 2 grandchildren. So, I have a I have a 4-year-old grandchild, a 3-year-old, another 3-year-old, different families, and then, a 1-year-old. So, they will in September, they will be 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, not all birthdays in September, but it's the summer, and so, anyway, it's fun. Yeah,
And
and
so,
I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. I used to call myself an accidental entrepreneur because I don't think I really realized that I have that entrepreneurial bent where I just have ideas, and I honestly thought it was normal, that I've started a few companies. I thought other people did this too. When I found out that it it's way more common now because we're in the digital age and lots of people can do things virtually and from home, and there's all kinds of remote work and that type of stuff. But back in the day, I called myself an accidental entrepreneur, and now I call myself a serial entrepreneur.
that's right.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So, I know a bit about your story from the
Yep.
past,
Okay.
but most women entrepreneurs make less than $100,000,
Yep.
which is absolute bullcrap. In fact, most make less than $50,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get to speak to people like you who were able to break through that. So I want you to tell us a bit about what happened. And then what do you think looking back, enabled you to do that? Was it a system? Was it tools? Was it your partner? Was it your mindset? And I'm sure it's a combination. Sometimes it's luck part of it too, I think. But I want to hear like maybe two things in your life that you were like, this is how I got there. This is how I broke through. This is what it was for me.
I think my personality lends itself to wanting and needing to achieve. So I like to set goals and go get them. And, in fact, it's a little bit neurotic. How I how I, like, set a goal, go get it, right? And I I don't know how to turn it off, right? And I don't know how to, um, take my foot off of the gas. In fact, I had I call them clarity calls when I meet with entrepreneurs who might wanna work with me, and I had a clarity call this week with a gal who has an amazing business, and I think she's doing around $50,000. And, my mind, I was able to look at her business and just think of like, okay, you could scale this way, you could scale this way, you could scale this way. And, but I asked her a question like, why are we on this call? And what's your hope for the future? Like, where do you want to be a year from now? And she said, I would be fine being here, like where I am. And
At
I
50
said,
and you're saying 50,000 a year, not 50,000 a month.
50,000 a year.
And what made her okay with that? I'm curious.
She's a mom.
Mhm.
And she wants to be available to her family, in a way that maybe someone doing 50,000 a month maybe couldn't be. And I was very, like, proud of her for knowing that,
Yeah.
like, setting that as a priority and saying, it's not all about the money. Because to me, I think too much about the money. And I wish I was able to say, it doesn't matter, but to me, in my own I don't put this on anyone else. It's for me, right? Like, to me, I'm working for many things, like a lifestyle, so I can bless my family in the future, that type of thing. But so anyway, I'm rambling a little bit,
No,
but
I
I
wanna
just
dive into that, actually. I
okay.
love what you
Yeah,
just said.
yeah.
Um, I love to make money. Like,
Mhm.
I love it, and
Yeah,
I measure a lot of my ego by it, a lot of my
me too.
value
Yep,
to my family, to myself, to the
yep,
world
yep.
by it, and, like, I actually don't think you should feel bad about it
Yeah.
because I see a person in front of me who, yes, you make a lot of money, you have a lot of success, and you've been married for 35 years, you have kids and grandkids and live on a farm,
Yeah.
you have time to put on a bra and makeup, like, you're living the freaking dream, and then you're taking your unique talents in franchise coaching and giving back. So, I'm not discounting what this woman has said, like, "I don't care about making 50,000, I want my time with my kids." I think life is so much about choice, and
Yes.
particularly for women, we need to be able to be proud of how we choose to live no
Yes.
matter what that is. With
Yeah.
17 kids, with 0 kids, with a
Right.
dog or a cat. I hate cats, but like
Yeah.
a dog or a cat, working for a company, running
Doing your own
marathons,
thing.
whatever it is. But I will tell you one thing that I work with a lot of women entrepreneurs on
Mhm.
that made me think of this woman. Cool that she wants to have time with her family, but I do wonder if her talents and her work is so valuable that the work she is doing and the time she is spending could benefit from learning and systems and tools that would allow her to make 100,000 from
Well,
the
I
same.
told her
Yes.
I told her, I said, "You could make 6 figures." Like,
Yeah.
"You think?"
Without spending more time.
And that's exactly what I told her. So, I met this gal
Good.
at one of my other clients. One of my clients is a company called Vintage Market Days,
Yeah.
and they have 54 locations nationally in the United States, and they're basically like a traveling flea market, if you will. That's really a poor description, but it's like booths of vintage stuff and boutiques and just beautiful stuff, vintage and new. And it's in 54 different locations with there's different vendors at every different event that happens. And we have one in Tulsa. And so it happened a few weeks ago and I met this gal there and she and I just started talking and she does, anyway, I don't have to tell you about what she does, but she told me what she was pricing her service. And I said, "Oh, you could easily increase that." I said, "How many people have paid you that for what you're doing?" And she said, "Oh, probably 20 or 30." I said, "If you have 3 people that will pay it, it's time to increase your prices."
Absolutely.
And she was like, "Really?" And she actually went home and increased her prices.
Yes.
And I was like, "Wow, that's awesome." And so then she got on a call with me, but when she said, "I'm really," she said, "I wanna have more time with my family. And so I feel like increasing the prices is a better way for me instead of doing more, 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 which of course. So anyway, I was just like, we're probably not a good fit.
Right.
Because I work with mostly 6-figure entrepreneurs or 7-figure entrepreneurs and but I totally would have worked with her if she wanted to, but one of my prerequisites is you have to want to scale.
Yeah.
You have to,
No.
because we're
Well,
not gonna be a good fit. Because I'm gonna push the pedal down for you, and I'm gonna
good.
hold you accountable to
Right.
what we agree, and she wasn't ready for that, but it doesn't mean she said, "Let's talk, next year, and let's see if I'm in a different place," and I was like, "Yes, let's absolutely keep in contact."
Yeah, absolutely. And you know who your person is. That
Yeah.
makes so much sense. I am going to say something and be very stereotypical. As a whole, and everyone is different. I act a lot like a man a lot of the time, right? I absolutely do. I'm a
Maybe
man.
I do too, Eve, and
Maybe
that's
you
yeah,
do,
maybe
but
I
we're
do.
trapped in these gorgeous womanly bodies. What can we do, right? Here we are.
Uh,
But what I notice is I feel like women entrepreneurs often are doing work that is nurturing, right? They're
yeah.
starting a medical company or a nonprofit or a coaching company or a training company or whatever. And I feel like men traditionally are better at feeling good about doing their work and getting paid what they're worth for it. Whereas I think a lot of times women will devalue their work because they'll be like, well, but I'm really giving to the world. I'm really supporting the world. I'll tell you something weird. You and I haven't talked for a while, but you're going to be like, what the heck? I recently went to get certified as a death doula. Okay.
Okay.
And
I had heard of this, so maybe you did tell me
maybe
this.
I did, which is,
No, 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 no. No, you know where I saw it?
Nicole Kidman.
No, The Pit. Do you
Well, I never
watch The
watched The
Pit?
Pit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you'll have to watch that show.
Okay. Well, I
I
heard Nicole Kidman's becoming a death doula, probably because I
Okay,
did, but
okay,
anyway.
yeah. She's
So,
following
what
you.
I found with these women, because it was 60 women and 2 men, right? Very nurturing profession, incredible profession, got certified, understand completely. I could never be capable of being that good of a person, honestly.
Okay.
Um, I understand that, and I found out that there is a huge discrepancy between these women, between half the women feel like that is sacred work that should only be volunteer work and given for free.
Mm,
And the other half feel like they are really want it to be their profession so they can support themselves and do this incredible work. And what I feel is men are more comfortable for the whole to ask for what they want when it comes to compensation. Also, I think, they'll work more in the corporate world or whatever with work that is less traditionally, considered bettering the world. And one of the huge messages I like to work with on women entrepreneurs is you are here to make the world a better place. And you should make your world a better place,
yeah,
right? You
yeah,
should pay your bills and enjoy whatever life you want to build, whatever choices you make, but you deserve that. And changing the world for the better is worth pay, is
yeah,
worth money.
yeah.
So I love that you told her that. I love that you told her to raise her prices. And now you've given her support for that choice to be with her kids more, and that's what she wants, right?
It's a way easier to give advice now that I've, grown a successful company to 150 locations and had a transaction. It's I can go back and look at the things that I did not do well and those decisions that I made early on to only charge X percent instead of, more. I do think that we end up operating out of fear a lot of times. And I did that all the time. Yeah, but it is absolutely different now that I've had success that I can point to, even myself. Like I'm like, okay, Shannon, you know what you're doing. You did this. And you didn't do it by yourself. You didn't do it in a vacuum. You had a wonderful team around you. But you hired that team and you marketed yourself and you when you didn't know something, you hired someone who knew how to do it and you made moves. But it's I still when I had this great transaction in December of 22, sold my franchise system, moving into something new that I had never done before, coaching, I I was undercharging myself. And I had a friend, it's funny, and I think we all should surround ourselves with smart people and those who are going to encourage us and help us with our mindset. But I was like, well, I want to charge this. And she said, Shannon, if you charge anything less than, and then she gave a number, she said, we're not going to be friends anymore.
So awesome, I love that.
I know. I was like, okay, well, my friend thinks I'm worth this much. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to charge that because I love that she did that. And I don't even know if I've told her. So that was something, it was stretching for me because I was like, why would someone pay that much per hour? Like it's significant. And, um, and since then I added more and added more. And so now I'm like, people actually pay this. So this is something I've been learning. And there are in franchising, if you use the word premier, if you put yourself out there as a premium brand. So I have one client, Lime, it's called Lime Painting. And when they came into the market, like a painter is a painter is a painter is a painter, you would think.
Mhm.
So when he came out, he's like, my target market is going to be high end homes. And we're going to call our brand the Premier brand. And this is the customer service you will get with the Premier brand. And dum da 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 da. I'm on his board. And so therefore they can charge more.
Yeah, that's
They
so
can charge.
smart.
Yeah. I had a call yesterday with a brand called French Florist, and they started in LA. And they did work for Dior, for Louis Vuitton, for like all of these brands that, have a presence in, LA. And so when they started franchising, we're like, they're on their website, it says something like, we're the premier florist.
Mm,
And it's a word. Anyone could go put that word on their
sure.
website and start marketing. Like this is the clientele we're looking for. The clientele that is willing to add a zero to someone else's price, right?
I didn't
Just
know
so,
that.
yeah.
That was a good lesson. Okay,
So,
Shannon, let's
yes.
tell people how cool you are. Talk to me about numbers and your exit. Tell me about all the money.
So, so I won't tell the full exit details.
Tell me the public exit details that I could find online if I Googled.
I'm going to tell you the system wide sales for the organization was 42 million and 150 locations in 34 states. But I did not sell to private equity. A lot of brands, their exit in franchising is to private equity. And so
Got
you
it.
have investors, there are specific private equity companies that come in and they want to, um, in franchising is a recurring revenue model. And so it's not as risky as other businesses because when you have, with coaching clients, I typically have a 12-month contract and then I either renew them for something else or they're done. Like I've taught them what they need to know. In franchising, you have 5-year contracts or 10-year contracts. And so it's a long partnership is what it is. And there's recurring revenue that comes to the corporate entity on a monthly basis. And so it's less risky for investors because they know there's cash flow happening.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
and and so lots of brands, they sell to either private equity or they sell to platform companies. But I did not do that. So I don't know if I'd even told you this, Eve, but do you
Mm-mm.
know that my husband had a health scare during COVID? Have I told you this story?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so he had 2 cancers and 3 autoimmune diseases before COVID. And so he was one, and you look at him, you would not know that he was
Right.
had all that going on. He's not a complainer. He looks normal. He's not overweight. It's like, but he was one of those people who had comorbidities. And during COVID, he got COVID, and 3 days later, he was in the hospital. And
I
he was
do
in the
remember this.
hospital
Yeah.
for 48 days, and he was intubated for 8 days. Then they extubated him. After 26 days, I got to see him in the hospital. I got to go up there, and that night they reintubated him because he turned septic and got DIC. But I got to stay with him through the second intubation, and he flatlined like 4 days into his second intubation. I was in the room, and the numbers you see on the movies all the time where they go down, 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 and then the flat line, and then they smack the wall and code blue, and everyone comes running and you get rushed out of the room. And um, that was me. But he is a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle, and he survived and he's doing well. But after walking through that, honestly, I had it's either PTSD or trauma of, walking through that. And I was not being a great leader. I didn't want to work. My team, thankfully, during that whole process of him being in the hospital, my team was leading without me. And when we got through that, I had probably a couple of months where I was in depression, in deep depression. And and definitely situational because I almost lost my husband. And therefore I did not feel like I was leading well. And I knew my franchisees deserved someone to lead well. And so I told my coach, I had a coach, and I said, I want to hire a new CEO. And he said, well, Shannon, you can absolutely do that. You own the company. If you want to appoint a new CEO, you can do that. But he said, I think you would be doing your company a disservice if you did that. And I was like, okay, tell me more. Like, why do you think that? And he said, well, you have a vision that you have not communicated well to your franchisees and to your team. He said, I think you need to do something called EOS. So I don't know if you've ever heard of EOS.
Yeah.
Okay.
We both did EOS forever. Right. I did it for 2 companies. I love
That's
you.
right. That's right. Okay. So
Yeah.
he was like, I think you need to do EOS. And I was like, he said, do you think you could give it 90 days? And I said, yes, I can give it 90 days. And in that 90 days, I got on medicine for my depression, and I had a new kind of passion. And so started doing EOS, and then got my vibe back, and was going, and we were growing after COVID. And then my largest multi-unit franchisee approached me, and she said, Shannon, I don't even know how to tell you this. We met every 6 weeks, just to she was my number one. She owned 2 locations. And so we just kind of kept the lines of communication open. And at the end of one of the calls, she said, Shannon, I don't even know how to bring this up, but if you ever want to sell, I might be interested. And I said, okay, well, let's visit, because private equity's been knocking at the door for the last 3 or 4 years. My largest competitor had visited with me, and I said, but I would like to figure out a way to make it work. But I didn't know, like, where's she going to get the money? Like, how's she going to do this? Like, how much money does she have? She did very well herself in her own locations. So all of that to say, my exit was to a large multi-unit franchise owner. And so now she is leading the company. We figured out a way to make it happen. It took us 18 months
That's not
to,
bad.
well, normal M&A transaction is 6 months. So, how long did yours
Yeah,
take?
but it was, it was one woman to another woman, so y'all are
Yes.
probably doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hire an investment banker. If I had to go back and do it again, I don't even know if I would, because it was like not really selling to your child, but it was.
It was like family.
Yeah, she is definitely influential in the brand, and she has done a phenomenal job leading the brand. I still get to sit on the board, and I actually worked for the company for 3 years in a very minor way as the brand ambassador for 3 years. And that ended in December of 2025. And so now I'm just on the board. So it's been really fun. And then I have another small business that I run called Coal Creek Farm Jinx, like coal, like a piece of coal. Like I said, we live on 15 acres, and it's an outdoor venue for photographers, and we live on the property.
I didn't know you did that.
Yes, yeah. Oh my
I
gosh,
had
you'll have to go check out the website. And then started Shine Executive Coaching, and
Okay,
I
give
coach
us the
founders.
website for Coal Creek first.
Yeah, Coal Creek Farm Jinx, JENKS. It's the name of the city.
Okay,
Dot
got
com.
it, .com,
Mhm,
okay,
mhm, mhm.
and then, I wanna hear so you have this big exit, you have this, life change, and thank you for talking about mental health because I think a lot of times entrepreneurs are not very open about struggles in mental health because they feel like they always have to act like they have everything together, and it's an absolute lie.
Yeah.
Nobody has it all together. It's
Nobody
just
has
not
it all
possible.
together. But
So
I definitely feel that way, like, meaning, like, and in fact, I started 2 mastermind groups because you do feel like you have to project confidence when you are in front of your team. Not that they can't know that you're struggling, because they can, but that they are counting on you. If you are taking up that seat, you better be leading. And and I know if I'm looking at someone and they are struggling with their mental health, I'm wondering, are they taking us the right direction? So I do feel like there is a time and a place to let people in to know when you are struggling. And so I started a mastermind group for other women CEOs or founders leading franchise brands. And so actually there's 28 of us in 2 groups. One is a group with most of them, I think all but one has 100 locations or more. And then I have an emerging group, and that is where we can be ourselves and we can say, hey, I had a hard day. I lost a vendor, or this franchisee is not profitable. It's weighing on me. It's like we can have the really heart to heart conversations, but not necessarily in front of our franchisees.
got
Yeah.
it. All right, we gotta wrap up. So
Okay.
let's get to the important stuff. So you go through this huge, life-changing exit, things you're going through in your personal life, and then you kind of reinvent yourself, right? With
Yes.
Shine Executive Coaching. Now,
Yep.
I want you to talk first of all for a woman entrepreneur out there right now who already has a franchise and wants to scale, or has a successful brand and has always dreamed of having a franchise,
Yeah.
how do they know? Like, how do they know they should franchise? Like, I've always heard of like scary, complicated laws about franchising.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
true.
I've also heard it's hella profitable. So, like, I've never thought of it because it freaks me out. So, like, why should people think of it and why people who are already in it, how should they pursue scaling?
I think franchising is a very difficult way to scale, but if you want to use other people's money to scale, we bootstrapped. Honestly, I didn't even know that you could raise money, that you could go get investors, I was like, someone will give you money. When I found out, I was like, what? We got a home equity line of credit. That's how we started ours. And so I think it takes a special person who is willing. I have a friend who calls franchising death by a thousand cuts because, yeah, I know, because it is franchisees when they are giving you their money to, they're basically becoming investors in what you have built. And then you are giving them the opportunity to go do what you did. And you have to know who you're looking for, and you have to, and not everyone is a good fit for franchising, because while you should, like, if you're going to franchise, you should have systems and processes. You should have replicated all of that. Like, you should be able to say, copy paste, here's the marketing playbook. You need to do A, B, C, and D in your first month. And this is how much money it's going to cost for you to do it. So you have to figure all of that stuff. It usually takes about a year to get all of the foundational pieces there to be able to actually sell franchises. And I would say if someone's thinking about franchising, uh, you're gonna you need to you need to be able to, after, how do I even say this, because this could be a whole podcast in and of itself, so maybe I won't go down this road, but I think you have to be able to look at the financials of your business, and you have to know and understand them, and you have to look at it and say, okay, my business is profiting, I don't know, 100K or 200K. After everything's paid for, there's profitability left, because when you franchise, corporate office is going to take some of that profitability. And so I would say don't franchise your business unless after the net profit and after the fees are taken out by the franchisor, someone can make 100, 150, 200,000.
Okay.
Because it's gonna be really difficult. I had a call with, someone who has, like, a laundry business, and it's like a laundry service where they pick up your laundry, they go do it, and they drop it back off, and she was doing really well. She was doing 150,000 in top line revenue, but her take home was about 50, and I was like, "It's not." uh, if someone is leaving corporate America or leaving their job and investing, the average franchise investment for brick and mortar is about $500,000. If they're investing $500,000, they want to be able to see a cash on cash return pretty quickly so that they can start paying the debt off that they're having to have debt service, all of that. And so franchising is not for everyone. So you have to
I
think
gotta be
about,
honest, it just amazes me that there are that many people around that like totally chill having $500,000 to I don't know. I
yeah,
just
I think most people who get into franchising, they get an SBA loan for that.
okay, got it.
And
I
so
didn't know
then
that.
they have 10 years through the cash flow, they're able to service the debt. Yeah.
Got it.
So
Okay,
I definitely don't think most franchisees have $500,000
yeah,
laying around.
I was wondering.
That's what they want, is they want to have $500,000 laying around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Shine Executive Coaching.
Yes.
Who do you work with and what do you do?
Yeah, most of my clients are emerging brand franchisors, but I do have some clients that are not franchisors. It's just who I kind of attract, because that's kind of the content that I put out there. And I'm looking for people who have 5 to 50 locations and want to continue to scale their brand, and even they could have 5 corporate locations. And I do have a couple of clients that are just starting their franchising journey. Like, they've done the year of getting their brand together, of getting the legal document together. It's called an FDD, a franchise disclosure document. And I have a couple of people that I'm working with right now that are in the process of trying to sell their first franchise. So they have 1 or 2 locations and they're trying to sell their first franchise. But most of my clients already have franchisees. And a lot of the work we do is around the foundational elements of working with franchisees. A lot of times when people come into franchising, they have the systems and processes of their widget or their service. Like I mentioned, line painting. So Nick he knows how to get a client. He knows how to service a client. He knows how to paint. He knows the 12 steps that the technicians are going to do when they meet with the client. He knows what's going to happen after they paint and how they're going to get a Google review. And he knows that from A to Z. And before he started franchising, he knew how to do that because he was sitting in the seat of the man in the van doing this.
Yeah.
But when you get into franchising, you are getting into a completely different business. Nick is no longer in the painting business. He's in the franchising business. So now you have to come up with all the systems and processes of what it takes to work with franchisees. Like how many times they're going to communicate with them, um, what's appropriate, what will put them in default. Like if they do this, they're terminated because it messes with the brand equity. Like all of those systems and processes haven't been figured out yet. And so you're usually taking a founder who has done well with their service or their brick and mortar or their widget. They have done well there. And then you're saying, okay, you're no longer doing that. Now you're in this business franchising, and your
Sure.
job is to support franchisees with operations, with technology, with marketing, with HR, all finance, all of the stuff. You become someone. In fact, the reel I did yesterday was talking about just how many people that get into franchising, they don't really understand that they're getting out of the business they were in and
Mm.
they're getting into a new business.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
don't think I know nothing about this. So thank you
yeah,
so much. All right.
yeah,
If somebody is thinking about franchising, hoping for it one day, has a franchise and wants to grow, they can go to Shine Executive Coaching and they
yep.
can talk to you.
Yeah, I usually do a clarity call, a 45-minute clarity call if someone wants to work with me. There's a little form you fill out, and then you can get on my schedule, and we'll get to have a call, and I'll ask you questions and see if we're a good fit. So I'm not a good fit for everyone, but I definitely love supporting entrepreneurs. It's just it's what gets me up in the morning. I'm always excited. My husband, my husband who I think I shared earlier, he's a pastor, and he was telling me recently at one, we do a breakfast date on Wednesday mornings. And he was telling me about an issue they were having in his own staff of 30 people. And so I started giving advice, and he's like, do you know that you do that all the time? Like, he was like, not everyone wants your coaching, Shannon.
Oh, no. All right, Shannon, thank you so much. Y'all,
Yeah.
you can check out Shannon at shineexecutivecoaching.com. If you're thinking about doing a franchise, if you've already got a franchise, she is the professional to go to. She'll shoot straight with you.
Thank you, Eve.
Shannon, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm Eve Mayer. This is the Brawless Entrepreneur podcast. You can check out all of our episodes at ditchthebra.com.